of our economy calls for action, bold and swift, and we will act, not only to create new jobs, but to lay a new foundation for growth. We will restore science to its rightful place and wield technology's wonders to raise healthcare's quality and lower its cost. We will harness the sun and the winds and the soil to fuel our cars and run our factories, and we will transform our schools and colleges and universities to meet the demands of a new age.
Our first African-American president of the United States, we're asking the question, how will President Obama's role as the leader of the free world impact the black man? President Obama said, sometimes I'll go to an 8th grade graduation and there's all that pomp and circumstance and gowns and flowers, and I think to myself, it's just 8th grade. To really compete, they need to graduate high school, and then they need to graduate college, and they probably need a graduate degree too. Obama's words were for everyone, but will they resonate with our young black men? Nearly 2/3 of African Americans undergraduates are women. At black colleges, the ratio of women to men is 7-to-1. Joining us now is Latifah, who's concerned about her cousin Julito's lack of interest in going to college. So tell me about what your main concern is.
Well, Tyra, this is my cousin, and I love him to death before I say anything, but I feel like he's falling into the stereotype of entertainment or sports within our community. He doesn't want to go to school. He just wants to either rely on acting or pick up a sport, anything like that, but he's pretty much doing what everybody does. And I feel like now, we have a black president, it should inspire him to be more proactive. Everything that he is doing is like hood-wise, hood education. I'm going to learn from the streets. I'm going to do this and do that. And he's not really putting his all into what he can do.
So you're an actor, Julito, right?
Yes.
When was your last job?
I was in an episode of Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, in January of 2008.
That was your last acting job?
Yes.
And you're going to rely on this as an income?
I mean, it's not necessarily my fault. You know, growing up, I was learning, I was doing good in school, but nowadays, it just feels like school, it's not really my thing. And I did, well in the acting field, so I feel like I just want to, I really don't have anything else. That's what I do, is the acting.
You don't have anything else? What does that mean, you don't have anything else?
I'm educated, but not well enough to be a lawyer, a doctor, and I feel like I'm very good in what I do, so acting is basically my thing.
Dr. Dyson, how do you feel hearing him talk, saying this is all I have, I don't have anything else? That saddens me.
Well, let me start. Look, obviously, let's be honest, and I'm a college professor, got a PhD at Princeton, but I was a teen father, hustled on the streets for 4 years, didn't start college till I was 21. So I'm not here trying to point the finger or condescendingly, because then that would be a lie about what I've done in my own life. But once having awakened, once realizing that if I want to provide an opportunity for my son in the future, I had to be educated in this society. I think we have to acknowledge that. Now, if you're a tremendous actor, and you are, I've seen you act, you're an extraordinary actor on The Wire and the like, so you got mad chops as a thespian, but the question is, if your last gig was about a year ago, you probably want to generate an alternative strategy to self-support, which means you got to get some education, which means you got to, and it's not for the sake of education. My son took an extended plan to finish, but I told him, you're going to keep your behind in school until you get a degree, because you're going to get out of my house and out my pocket. So the thing is, and I love that brother, but so I think you have to have an alternative, because most black men are not going to be able to shoot a basketball. Either you got a jump shot, jump shot, or you got a wicked jump shot, right? You can do that. Entertainment. The thing is that you got to find an alternative to those things so that you can fall back, a fallback plan, so that should it not work out, you're educated yourself to the degree that you're able to take care of yourself and do your thing.
People need to learn, too, if you have success early in acting, then that's what, I mean, you're popular. People are like, man, they're telling you every day, you're great, man, I love that show. But then when that show is over, and it's been a year since you have to advance what you know as far as reading more books and getting comfortable and getting that education, because that's the only thing that's going to allow you to take it to the next level.
Like,
I can tell you about me, Julito. I, started modeling, and I got accepted to 5 colleges for film and television production. And 2 weeks before my first day of school, I got discovered in LA, and they wanted me to go to Paris. I told myself, okay, I'm going to put college on hold for a year. I talked to my university and deferred for a year. And they even said that they would give me some type of credit if I can learn French when I came back. Okay. But I told myself, if I am not a supermodel in a year, peace out, Paris. I told myself that plan. I give myself 1 year, and if I'm not there, I'm going to go back to school and get my education and go after my other dream, which was film and television production, to be a producer. And it's interesting to me that you don't have that other plan. And that's what saddens me, is to not have that true other plan where you can be just as successful but in another field.
It's like, the reason I haven't acted is not because I haven't been, you know, it's just right now in the society and everything that's going on in the industry-wise, there's no roles out there for me, and I don't want to be stereotyped as a young hood guy. You know, I'm not saying just because I don't go to college, I'm not educated, because if you look at people like 50 Cent, like Jay-Z, they never, none of them made it out of high school, you know,
But you're looking at 1 in a million. That's like looking at a young girl looking at a supermodel and saying, well, Tyra did this or so-and-so did this. Those are 1 in a million. It is like winning the lotto. Woo! It's like winning the lotto.
50 Cent got shot 9 times. God bless him, he still lived. Jay-Z had to sling raw and push purple and wet off this step. So the thing is, God forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. True. But at the same time, he said that he wants to make it possible for other people. He said, no, Hov did that, so you won't have to do that. So the reason that Hov slung crack and the reason that 50 Cent did what he did is so that other people would have the opportunity to take an alternative route to success. So I think that these are brilliant, obviously, young men, but you have to have a fallback plan. You got to have plan A. If plan A don't work, you got to have plan B. Plan B don't work, plan C, plan D. You got to have alternate strategies to get what you're trying to get.
I still got plan B, C, and D right here. Even with my life right now, I still have plans. Still, constantly. Because you never know. You never know. We'll be right back.